Star Trek, PICARD, I wasn't really hyped for this season. Season 1 for me was a little bit of a disappointment. Now, not that it was terrible, it didn't really have that oomph that I expected a show about PICARD to have. You know, he's like one of the biggest characters in the Star Trek universe. Obviously, he was the most popular captain that I think we've seen. And, you know, I really enjoyed Next Gen, like a lot. So for me, this was like make it or break it, and it didn't make it for me. So season 1 kind of sucked, right? But then they announced season 2, and the second I saw those trailers, man, I knew this shit was gonna suck. So first of all, right off the bat, these characters suck, right? In season 1 they sucked, in season 2 they're worse. I have no emotional attachment to these characters, not even PICARD. Like, he almost died at the end of season 1. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? If they end his story there, that's completely fine. But no. He is now just reborn, right? It's like this whole new him, and it's really kind of stupid. But I just went with it. You know, I was like, this is the way they're taking it. They want to continue his story. That's fine. If that's the only way they could think of doing it, then whatever. But then I saw the trailers for season 2, and I realized that them not ending on season 1 was the biggest mistake history has ever made. So here's the deal. Basically this season, Q intervenes as the Borg, you know, explode the Stargazer, and everybody dies. But Q is like, hey, I'm going to show up again. And he intervenes with a timeline to where it's like he went back in time and changed the past, so that the future that they are now in, which is really the present, is now completely different and terrible, and everybody's the worst person on planet, you know. So it's like, whatever, fine, this is the cool plot that you guys come up with. Anyways, that already kind of sucks, right? Okay, so Q made the world bad and made you the villain instead of the hero. Oh well. But then what they had to throw in there, and keep this in mind, at the time of recording this, there are only 2 episodes out, and I've watched those 2, and that's it. So this will kind of be like a 2-part video. So whenever the show is done, I'll make an update video on this. And then, but for now, these are my thoughts. So basically, they're going to go back in time and try to fix whatever Q changed in order for the timeline to be like this. And, you know, right from the bat, we know they're going to succeed. There's no stakes in this show already. Not because, you know, we know he's going to be alive in the future. I haven't gone into a lot of Star Trek lore. Maybe we already know he's going to be alive in the future. But basically, we know our heroes are going to survive this. It's very unlikely they're going to end PICARD on season 2. That doesn't make sense. But the year they're going to go back to is basically now. 2024, that's 2 years from now. So it's basically dropping these future characters into this reality. Fish out of water stories can, like, literally go jump off a bridge. But too bad, we're getting one in Star Trek now. And I never liked time travel. When I heard Endgame, the way they're going to solve the huge, terrible ending of Infinity War was a really good ending. Seeing all these heroes finally lose was awesome. But the way they're going to unravel all that was just with the simple, time travel fixes everything. Now, any stake for the rest of the universe, for the rest of any movie that's going to come out, is absolutely useless because time travel exists. So it's a stupid way for them to do it. But anyways, now it's in Star Trek. And, you know, it's not like time travel hasn't existed in Star Trek. It's just that making it a whole season of a show, like, I can understand like a one-off episode. Those are fun. That's an interesting idea for one episode because you know that the series is going to continue on after that. Making it about a whole season, dude, I would rather hook my belly button up to a car battery. And the issue that I have with this is that Star Trek is about breaking boundaries and exploring new worlds. This is always what it's been about. Even DS9, which was kind of controversial because it was set on a stationary space station, right? And all these other shows have been about these moving, exploring spacecrafts. Even that pulled off such and it's the best show in my opinion. DS9 is so good. But basically, that show, even though it was controversial for it being set on a space station, could pull off being Star Trek. These new shows, Discovery, PICARD, and I think they're coming out with another one soon, they just don't have any Star Trek charm in them. Like, everything that Star Trek really used to do is completely gone at this point, and it kind of just feels like any regular ABC action show. Like, there's no real character development or any sort of enjoyment out of anything that's happening on screen. It feels very bland and very just like there's no stakes. There's nothing really going on that the audience cares about. It's just a lot of visual noise that eventually leads to a conclusion that the writer slapped together. See, what I would do is I would take some point in Star Trek history that we care about, whether that be Picard's beginning days on the Stargazer, maybe hire an actor that, looks decently similar to young Jean-Luc, and just have him play the role of young Picard and do an episodical event, an episode kind of thing, like DS9, like Next Gen, and just have it be like each episode has some sort of thing that happens that gets resolved at the end. You have so much to explore, and it really sets up how prepared Picard is on Next Gen. Every episode he's dealing with some random ass thing, and he handles it. How does he handle that? Maybe because he's already been through it before in the past. But I would really go back. I'd film it in 4x3. I'd, maybe film it on newer cameras, but I'd film it on film cameras. 4x3, make the episodes 45-ish minutes long and make the seasons really long. Keep the production price really low so you can make longer seasons. Don't rely too much on visual effects. Keep it more story-based. And I'm positive this type of Star Trek show would really do well. But no, they're taking it the anamorphic lenses and wide aspect ratios and Dutch angles and trying to make it look all modern and new. And this really all stemmed from the 2009 Star Trek movie from J.J. Abrams. And ever since then, they've really started taking a modern approach. And I've never thought of Star Trek as a show that's supposed to look modern. It's almost, it really is taking, retrofuturism, I believe it's called, and putting that in a space show. Meaning it's taking what people thought in the past the future would look like and making that the future, instead of actually thinking what the future would look like. And I thought that was neat. I thought that was a really cool way to imagine that, because it doesn't feel very real, and it kind of takes you to this otherworldly place that, these people live among the stars. That's cool. Anyways, went really far out there, but coming back in, Picard does none of this. It's so bland. It feels like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or some random-ass show that doesn't really dive into character development. It's just there to basically play in the background while someone mindlessly makes dinner. Thus far, Season 2 has failed at any character development, at any sort of story improvement, and really anything. It really hasn't done anything. I know it's only been 2 episodes, but even the plot that they're setting up doesn't seem interesting and doesn't seem like it really can hold its own. Also, the acting, I feel like, has gotten worse. There were actually some good, decent acting moments in Season 1 from what I can remember, but thus far in Season 2, everyone is just so predictable. There were so many times I mouthed to myself the word or phrase someone was about to say. 2 episodes in, and I'm doing this repeatedly. The writing is really bad, really predictable, and the acting does not support the bad writing. Bad writing can at least be held up by good actors who are trying. Nobody here is putting on their A game at all. Mostly because none of these people are A-star, A-list, A-game type actors. A lot of them just don't have it in them. And I at least expected it from Patrick Stewart, but he really isn't putting on that much of a show anyways. I'm almost not praying that the rest of the season is good, so that way I can just bash it some more. But thus far, I am the least impressed by, in terms of any Star Trek show, this one is kind of ass. I mean, nothing can really be as ass as Discovery, but it's getting close. So for now, I'm going to give Star Trek Picard a 3 out of 10. I think that's pretty good. And we'll see how it goes. So yeah, Star Trek Picard, 3. I'll see you in the next one later.